Alright everyone, this is Stammer and it's been a while. What I thought would be a 2-week and then a month has now turned into 4 months? 4 months plus. Sorry. What I have learned about myself during this pandemic is that when I go into stress mode, my productivity goes It's fine. It's a hard time for everyone, so cutting myself a bit of slack. So when I recorded my last video back in April, we were about a week into lockdown here in the UK, and I thought I had a pretty good idea of what was going on with it. I may have not I don't think anyone could have predicted, but I didn't quite predict how I was going to react to what was happening. So I just kind of stopped doing stuff. And it was also, I did mention this before, it was kind of because I was working from home and working on my laptop, which is what I did my editing on. It was then like I would close my laptop to finish work and not want to reopen it to do anything else. But I'm feeling a bit more amped up. I'm ready now, so I'd like to get back into it. Another thing that I'm hoping will spur me on to actually do this right is I bought a desk. Everything's on the desk, so I'm not going to show you the desk, but there's a desk, which is why the angle's changed. And hopefully having a desk will mean that unfocused brain here will be able to actually sit down and get focused on something. So I'm very excited to see if that's right or whether I've just wasted money on a desk. So in terms of the stutter, so many stammering groups have moved their support group meetings online, which has been amazing. Being able to join both the ones that I would go to in person and ones that I wouldn't be able to go to because they're in other parts of the UK or even internationally has been really, really great. There's been a lot of figuring out time zones, especially once you get into like the US and India, like trying to work out what's the best time for everyone. But it's been great. It's been great to see, and it's been great to see the stuttering community pulling together, and people definitely have. People have been like, right, what do we need? Let's do it. There have been online conferences, online support groups, and just lots of chat going on the groups that I'm part of, and it's been amazing to see. And I'm excited that it will continue even once stuff starts up in person, because I know that in particular for the Scottish Stammering Network, which is one of the UK charities I'm part of, there have been people coming along to our online meetings that were never able to make it to the in-person meetings, either because they lived too far away or they had kids, the timing didn't work for them. They have other stuff going on in their lives, as we all do. But it's far less of a time commitment, like to take an hour and sit in front of your computer, tablet, whatever, in your house, and than it is to factor on maybe a couple hours, if not more, for travel, to actually get to one of these groups. Yeah, so I think in a way, for one positive of the pandemic, it has made us consider how we can make stuff more accessible and can open stuff up to more people. Obviously in-person stuff is still great, and as a social person I miss that, but I think there's definitely value in online groups, is what we've learnt. So it will be interesting to see how that continues. Yeah, in terms of work, I work in a library, like in a hospital. I've been giving some presentations, mostly virtually. I've been doing online training over Zoom, which is, when you have a stutter, like the internet can be dodgy and the connection can cut out, and I always have to warn people up front. Yes, it may be the internet connection, but it might also be me. So if you hear silence, take a look at my camera. If it looks like I'm still talking, it might be a block and not an internet thing. Because of everything, we've had to move my work's induction online. So what we decided to do was make an induction video for our library. And as the person on my team with some editing skills, I put myself forward to do it. And I made a proof of concept, which was just all of the images with my voice over it. But in the editing, I found myself editing out my stutters. And that, I was torn between being ashamed of the fact I was doing it, but also, yeah, it's a difficult thing, because, okay, first and foremost, my stammer is not a problem in my work. All of my team are aware of it, all of my team, as far as I know, are fine with it. So, like, it wasn't pressure from them to get rid of the stammer for this video. But my logic was, this is proof of concept. I'm not going to be doing the final narration. I would never edit a stutter out of one of these videos. The only time I have in the editing is either if it's part of a longer ramble that just needs to be cut because I'm talking rubbish, or if it's at the start of something I'm cutting to, I may shorten it slightly so there's less of a pause, just for ease of listening. But in the middle of a sentence, if I'm stammering and I'm saying a sentence and I stammer in the middle, I will not cut the stammer out of the middle of a sentence, because, you know, that's what this channel is about. I want to be able to show that. But what I found while making this, because it was just my voice, I had like a couple seconds of silence, and I was like, right, well, just cut that out, bring it together. And then it wasn't until later I realised, you're editing out your stutters. Because my blocks are silent, I can't hear them. So on an audio track, it's quite easy to just be like, oh, gone. In video, it would be blaringly obvious if I cut them out. But I just did it because I knew it wasn't going to be me in the final take. And I just wanted to be like, this is what we can do. Okay, this is the thing. Was I editing my stammer? Was I cancelling my stammer? Because mentally, not for me. And I knew it was still there. But I was editing it out. But not because I was ashamed of the stammer, but because it wasn't relevant in this context. Where's the line? Yeah, this is going to be a very rambly one. Just prepare yourself for a slog through my internal monologue as I try and get back into this. Another challenge that has come on as a result of what is happening in the world at the moment is masks. And trying to wear a mask while having a stutter. This has been covered by some other people, kind of Cortland Crane, an American YouTuber, has made a video about it that I'll link below. When we have a block or when we stutter, it's very useful for somebody to be able to see our mouth, because then they know that we're still talking. If they cannot see our mouth, then they may not realise we're still talking and may think we're rude, think we haven't answered, think we're done and speak over us. And wearing a mask has become a bit of a challenge for some people who stutter for that reason. I live in London and we have to wear them on public transport. And that's fine, because in London no one talks to each other on public transport. So we don't need to be able to speak. And I mostly use public transport to get to work, so I'm not with people I know. So that's fine. But as I mentioned before, I work in hospitals. And in hospitals, we need to be wearing masks whenever we're within a certain distance of people or whenever we're walking around the halls. So as a librarian, I get people coming in to ask me questions, and I need to put on a mask and then answer their question. And I have had times where I've been stammering while helping people and they've not realised. I'm confident enough and secure enough in myself that I'll just let them know I have a stammer. But not everyone is, and not everyone should be. We're all at different points on our journey. So the masks have been fun for that. So as I mentioned in the beginning, I've hit a bit of a mental block since the pandemic started, since lockdown started. A mental block and lots of hair. I wrote an article on this for a website called StammerRambles. I'll link that in the description as well. And that just basically said kind of what I said at the start was I thought I had a handle on this at the start of the pandemic, and I just don't. And I'm slowly getting to the point where that's fine. It's okay to be unsure. And at the start, whenever someone said, like when I said I was struggling, and they were like, it's fine. I was like, well, that's not really helpful. I'm glad it's fine, but that's not motivating me. That's not driving me to do something. So hopefully, with this, it's marking a return to actually being able to do stuff. However, I say that, this is filming it. There's editing, that's the whole other thing. And it's not filming that's been stopping me from uploading on this channel recently, it's been the editing. Because I've got footage from last year that I still want to edit and put out. Like, I had some questions about why like so many of my earlier videos were like 1 year previously. It's because I film stuff and then I don't put it out. I have stuff. I want to put some of that stuff out, but I need to focus and actually get it done. So this ramble is my pledge to myself to actually hobble back onto the train and try and pick it up again. Because thank you again to everyone who has engaged with StammerRambles since I started in January. Whether it's a view, a like, a comment, a follow on any of my social medias. I see it, I appreciate it. I'm just being a bit rubbish at the moment. And hopefully I can get back into the swing of it, which would be great. Okay, I think that's all for now, because this is a very rambly one. I don't want it to be too long. Thank you so much for watching. If you liked it, please leave a like, leave a comment of anything you'd like to see from this channel. I'd love to hear your ideas and take it in and actually do stuff that you're interested in watching. All of my social medias are in the description. Please follow me on those. It would be lovely to see you over there. And I will see you in the next one. Bye.